Hi, my name is Holly Scott. This is a picture of me, and I'm about to go over my family genogram. First, we're going to start with my dad's side of the family. This is my grandparents. I call them grandmom and granddad. My granddad's name is George Wilbur Scott, and he was born in 1922 in Montana. At a very young age, his parents moved him to Gloucester, Virginia. When he turned 18, he joined the Navy and served for 4 years. Once he got out, he started working for Bell Atlantic Telephone Company. My grandmom, Iris Elizabeth, was born in 1924 in Norfolk, Virginia. Once she graduated high school at Maury High, she started working for Norfolk Railroad Company for only 4 months until she met my grandfather. My grandmom and granddad dated for several years while residing in Norfolk, Virginia. Then they decided to get married in 1948. After they got married, they moved to Virginia Beach, Virginia, and started having children in 1954. Their first child, Deborah Lee, was born in 1954. She is the girl in the white shorts. The next child they had was George Wilbur Jr. He was born in 1956. And the last child, my dad, is Harry Bryan, and he was born in 1960. My dad is standing in between grandmom and granddad. The boy in the red shirt was a child that they babysat. Now we will go into more detail about my grandparents' children. My aunt, Deborah Lee, is the lady on the left, and she is a lesbian. Her first serious girlfriend was in 1992 with Dorothy Filbert. Dorothy was born in 1952, and my aunt and Dorothy lived together from 1992 until they broke up in year 2000. My aunt decided to move out to San Diego, California, and pursue her dreams of becoming a chef. Once she became a successful chef, she hired Sharon Bristol to be the pastry chef. They met and got legally married in San Diego in 2011. Now moving on to my uncle George Wilbur Jr., also known as Bubba in my family. He was born in 1956. He's the guy on the right in the picture. He had a serious relationship with Marvin in 1991 to 1994. Marvin unfortunately passed away due to AIDS. George Wilbur then moved on to Palm Springs, California, where he met Joel Wolfgang, a successful interior decorator. Together, they became business partners and moved in together in 2012. Last but not least is my father, the guy in the picture, Harry Bryan Scott. He prefers to go by Brian. He was born in 1960 in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Once he graduated from high school at Princess Anne High, he started working at the shipyard in Newport News. He met my mother at the nightclub Peabody's. They got married in 1983 and had 2 children, my brother, Michael Reed, and he was born in 1986, and myself, Holly Lorraine, and I was born in 1989. More about my brother. He had always had such a passion for Spanish, so when he graduated from high school, he moved to Charlottesville, Virginia, and attended UVA, where he got his degree in education and Spanish. He became a Spanish teacher at high school in Charlottesville, Virginia, and then realized he wanted to teach Spanish to college students. So he went back to school at Middlebury University and studied in Madrid, Spain, where he got his degree. He is currently a professor at VCU in Richmond, Virginia, and aspires to move to Ohio State to become a Spanish professor there. As for me, after graduating from high school, I went to community college unsure of what I wanted to do. I then started going to Old Dominion University and discovered that I wanted to be a teacher, much like my mother and my brother. Now I am in the master's program at Old Dominion University. Unfortunately, my parents divorced in 1996 when I was in 2nd grade and my brother was in 4th grade. This made us spend a lot of time traveling to my dad's every other weekend and causing a lot of stress. Fortunately, my mom and my dad did the best that they could to raise us in a happy and healthy environment. In 2004, my dad met Kelly Hauser and they got married in 2006 and now reside in Virginia Beach, Virginia in the house that my dad grew up in. A few years after Kelly and my dad got married, my grandfather George Wilbur passed away in 2011. Therefore, my dad moved in with my grandmother in order to take care of her. Now moving on to my mom's side of the family, the Nickerson family. Here is a picture of my grampy and my grandma. My grampy, better known as Robert Ernest, was born in 1938 in Maine. Once he turned 18 and graduated from high school, he joined the Navy where he moved to Petersburg, Virginia. On the other hand, my grandma, Bonnie Dewberry, was born in 1941 in Hopewell, Virginia. Before even graduating from high school, she met my grampy, Robert Ernest, and they got married in 1959 while he was still in the Navy. Once he finished the Navy, after 4 years, he started working as a mechanic. Together, they had 4 children, Gerald, Charles, Cindy, and Scott, 3 boys and 1 girl. My uncle Gerald Nickerson was born in 1959 in Hopewell, Virginia. After graduating from Hopewell High, he went to U of R, the University of Richmond, and got his bachelor's degree. After graduating, he started working for marketing online. After many years of being single, my Uncle Gerald met Myra and they got married in 2003. Together, they live in Chesterfield, Virginia. My Uncle Charles, better known as Chucky, was born in 1961 in Hopewell, Virginia. After graduating high school from Hopewell High, he became an auto mechanic and still is today. As a hobby, he repairs old vintage cars. He met my aunt, Betty Moore, and they got married in 1986. My Aunt Betty was a special education teacher for several years, but now is a stay-at-home wife. Together, my Uncle Charles and my Aunt Betty had my one and only cousin, James Robert, who was born in 1992. He's better known as my cousin Jimmy. They live in Chester, Virginia, where he graduated from high school and went to U of R, the University of Richmond, and got his law degree, and currently works at a law office. Robert and Bonnie's 3rd child, my mother, Cindy, was born in 1963. After graduating from Hopewell High School, my mother was an accountant for a mental hospital. She met my father and they got married in 1983. My father's name is Harry Scott, as you remember from earlier in the film. My parents, Cindy and Harry Bryan, got divorced in 1996. Several years later, my mom met Brian Hyde, our new next-door neighbor. They got married in year 2000. After getting married, my mom went back to college at VCU and got her teaching art degree and became an art teacher. My stepdad was in the Army but then got out and now works for a company doing purchasing work. Together, they live with their 2 dogs in Hagerstown, Maryland. Bonnie and Robert's last child was Scott. He was born in 1964. He has never been married and has no children. He currently lives in Richmond, Virginia, working for a marketing company. Since Scott suffers from severe depression, we were unable to locate a photograph of him. He never attends Christmas events, holiday parties, or birthday parties. We rarely ever see him, which is very unfortunate. Now I'm going to quickly go over our Scott family genogram detailed chart. The squares represent males, the circles represent females. The triangle in your circle or square represents if you are a gay or lesbian. An X represents if you've passed away. A dashed line represents if you live together. 2 slashes facing to the right represent that you've been divorced. A heart represents a related health issue. In this case, it's diabetes or they're pre-diabetic. The circle with the colored rim, in this case it's orange, is the subject of the genogram, which is me. A question mark means there's no information about this person. The B is the year born, M, year married, D, year divorced, and LT means that they lived together. Most of the information in this chart is found in the video. The purpose of the chart is to show patterns or familiarities within the family. As you can see, I have a lot of gay and lesbians in my family and also diabetes. Therefore, it is easy to see commonalities within my family. As for my Nickerson family genogram chart, the hearts all represent the related health issue. In this case, several of us suffer from anxiety. Some are more severe than others, but it shows that we all have a related pattern. I hope you enjoyed learning a lot about my family. Cheers!